is Zoe, otherwise known as ZoomieTarot. This will be my first YouTube video, and I am just super excited about it. What is this video going to be about? Well, we're going to do a 3-card spread with the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck. And also, let's get to know each other a little bit. I've got some things that I definitely want to tell you guys about. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll go ahead and shuffle the cards. I've been doing tarot seriously for a couple months, and in total I've had experience with tarot for a couple of years, I think. Now, I was doing it a lot in college. Everything I know I've learned from my boyfriend's mom, Sherry. She is definitely someone who is a huge influence in my life as well as my tarot life. What I kind of bring to the table as a tarot reader, I try to keep things very positive. They might have like negative connotations or they might feel more negative. The Death card is actually my favorite card. It's just a lot about like the rough part is already over, and I really love that affirmation in my life, like, oh, thank God, the negative part is done, the negative part is over. I also bring the Kabbalah to my readings. I really believe in Jewish mysticism, believe in the Jewish people. I'm Jewish myself. I really just like to bring my own culture into my readings as well. That's a little bit about my tarot journey. I only use the Mystic Mondays deck. Shout out to Grace Duong. This is my favorite tarot deck of all time. I love how it looks. I love the book that she has with it and how simple she makes tarot, how accessible she makes tarot. Really just shout out to her for like making some great cards and a great deck. I also really like to use this book as well by Carol Bridges, the Medicine Woman Inner Guidebook. I might make a video just about this book in general and about this deck in general, but I just love how she combines her experiences and her culture. I believe that she's a Christian woman who also cultivates like a lot of Native American teachings in here. So I love to use that book as well. Everything I know about the Kabbalah was from a book specifically about tarot and Kabbalah. I'll go ahead and put it right here. The first thing I wanted to tell you guys are my top artists right now. So I was just listening to Slow Tie. I think he just came out with a new album. I'm a real hyperpop fan, to be honest. I'm really into 100 Gex. Dorian Electra is my favorite artist right now. I love their style. I love their passion. I love their pride. They make me so proud to be the person that I am. Rest in peace to Sophie. Sophie was one of my favorite artists as well. She was a huge inspiration to me and to others in the community. I really want to make a video specifically for her and for fans and people who are mourning Sophie. She was really on her rise. I love SZA. SZA is one of my top artists. Charlie XCX is one of my newer artists that I'm really, really getting into. And I can see how Charlie has definitely influenced the hyperpop vibe and the hyperpop genre. And I really love her music video Claws. I just think it's so funny that she just got in a green screen and was like, yep, let's just do it. Totally pandemic vibes too, because it's like, well, you gotta kind of
get creative.
And I just feel like it's such a like cultural moment to like make a music video like that in the context we're in right now in the pandemic, you know? Serena I'm sorry. I love Serena's music. Serena is like your really chill friend that will also like, if someone calls you like a slur or something, will be like, you know, I love that about her. Remy Wolf is someone that I'm just getting into. Remy is in a lot of Spotify playlists. I would love to make a video about hyperpop in general. My next thing that I want to talk about is how I was an English major, but I'm kind of illiterate. For me, it's like I have special interests, and I'll read like a whole entire textbook on a special interest, like color theory or tarot cards or the Kabbalah. I'll read like a whole book front to back, one day, get it done. But if you ask me to read a news article, girl, I'm sorry, but it might not happen. There was one time where me and my boyfriend were just chilling, and I looked at like a news article on Facebook, and I was like, oh my god, tragic, and I opened it, and I scrolled from the top to the bottom, and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy, and then I exited out, and he was like, You didn't read that. He just totally called me out. Like, he just totally called me out. And it's true, like, I am really bad at reading. Like, I just bought Bubbly. I love Bubbly, by the way. Not sponsored or anything. The other week, I bought Bubbly Bounce. I didn't know that it was caffeinated, and I didn't even know there was a difference. I just thought, like, oh, they're just trying new flavors. No, girl, it's caffeinated. And I bought it because I didn't read it. I guess I just saw the shape of Bubbly, and I was like, yes, please.
That's mine.
I don't know, like, I'm pretty, like, illiterate. I just feel like I very rarely will read something fully. I'm really good skimming. I can skim something really well and just, like, kind of understand it, I guess, sometimes. But if you ask me to read something, you know, I might miss some key integral parts of that. Yeah, that's a little bit about how I go from one brain cell to zero. I love Pokemon. I just made a Pokemon spread actually on my Instagram at ZoomieTarot. Please follow me. I really post some fun things about tarot, and I think that you'd enjoy following my Instagram as well. I love Nintendo video games. I haven't been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons for a while because it really frustrates me, everything about it. But, you know, I still love her, and she's still always going to be in my little pandemic heart-shaped box. My favorite Legend of Zelda game is Breath of the Wild, which I'm sure many of us would say. I think, though, we should learn more about you. We're gonna go ahead and just start the tarot card reading. I'm asking God to please give you direction in life. We're gonna use my original lemonade spread, making lemons out of lemonade. The spring is coming, the sun is showing in Minnesota, y'all. In the lemonade spread, it's lemons, sugar, and lemonade. But we're gonna start with your lemon. And that's gonna be your base ingredient, your starting point. For you, it's the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, I remember, was a card about just like, go. Don't think about it, ask questions later, just take action. I also love the Knight of Wands, and wands in general, actually, because they're a lot about kind of whatever is churning inside of you. It becomes emotions that you can equip and use just like a tool. You can kind of use your emotions as a tool to kind of guide you towards action and making impactful changes in your life. Living moment to moment, the Knight of Wands reversed indicates a loss of control through his impatience and reckless behavior. Impulsive actions lead to mistakes, rushing ahead without thinking about possible repercussions. Frustration and anger arise with every delay that occurs and only get worse as time rolls along. Taking risks pushes you ahead, but there are times to be cautious as well. Failure to think ahead has you scrambling with even more wasted energy used to put out fires. Realign back to your vision and give yourself time to structure a plan. You deserve to succeed. Maybe don't just go ahead and go for it. It's time to make a plan, you know, and that makes sense with the spring coming along. There are new months to come. You might be having a new start with your creative endeavors, maybe your job, your personal projects. You can kind of treat this as a new start. Maybe you want to buy a planner and start compartmentalizing your days. Like, I'm going to do an hour of this on Monday and then an hour of this on Wednesday, or I'm going to take 5 minutes this Saturday when I'm off work to kind of just draw and be myself and take the time to be creative. Take a slow down moment and don't just rush ahead. And it's hard with the day-to-day, you know. I think that we all kind of get a little lost in the day-to-day stuff, and it can be hard to break out of those routines or find time outside of our routines to take some time to just be like, all right, I'm going to make a to-do list. I'm going to get organized. Start at the basics. So that was lemon. Sugar are additions that are to be made right away in thought processes, as well as just your actions that you make every day.
Right away additions.
And that is the moon flips. A lot about exemplifying your inner power. In the Kabbalah, it is opposite to temperance and also kind of having some patience. Just kind of like if you were to be charging some kind of power up. Some people believe in charging up crystals, charging up some kind of power inside yourself. Subconscious symbols appear. You are tuning in to listen to your intuition, but you are unable to receive a clear signal. The moonlight is creating a hazy effect, highlighting fears and anxiety. You're caught questioning yourself. You are doubting your ability to achieve your dreams. There is a restless energy as you desire to take actions to solve your problems, but feel stuck with no clear direction to go forward. I think these two cards actually go hand in hand. Make a plan first. Once you have some building blocks to start building that tower, go ahead and start building it. You might feel this way, honestly, because this hasn't been done yet. Sometimes we think our first step is the first step. Then we're like, oh, all this preliminary stuff goes before that. Plan ahead. Again, get a planner. Compartmentalize your time. And then when it comes to the moon, when you have the building blocks to kind of start building with, that is when this is going to turn right side up. You can start really listening to key voices in your head and key pieces of intuition that are telling you, okay, I've planned, I'm ready to execute now. Maybe you're just in kind of this waiting period where there are more preliminary steps before taking that first leap. That's a blessing in itself to have time to think out your options, compartmentalize your time, and then go for it. These two go hand in hand. There are just preliminary steps right now before going for that final leap into your creative endeavors and into your projects. And this is our final card. Lemonade is what happens when we combine your foundational abilities with the sugar, so additions, and then they come together to make the lemonade. The Two of Swords. Twos are great cards. They talk about push and pull. That also connects up to the Hermit and the High Priestess. If you think of like the Hermit, just think of a hermit crab, someone who is a little bit more introverted. They go into their inner resources to recharge. And the High Priestess has already recharged. She's ready to be boisterous and outgoing, and she's more ready to give, while the Hermit is a little bit more receptive and receiving. Oh, again, another one about stillness. Complete standstill. Time passes by as you struggle to make a decision. Many choices lie before you, however, you're finding it easier to avoid the problem. Putting off making a decision will only make it worse. Consult with all parts of yourself and use your body as a sensor to gauge what feels right. Gather as much information as you can to fill in the blanks to answer any concerns you may have. Balance your wants and needs by weighing the pros and cons of this decision. I have a feeling that you are going through a period right now of stillness. You're going through a period where it's kind of the pause point before really pushing forward towards your goals. It can be irritating to be in this stage of your life. Everything's on pause and you have a lot of time to think about your next steps. It's like, oh, I don't need this time. I just want to go. I would take this time as a blessing that you have the time to plan. You have the time to compartmentalize. Once you have that compartmentalized plan, you know where you want to go and you have all the steps laid out. That is when it's ready to go. The Two of Swords is definitely saying that you may be in a standstill spot. You still need to weigh the pros and cons before going. From a personal perspective, that's okay. That's totally fine that you still need a little bit of time just to think about your decisions in order to make the best one, to go forward into the future with the brightest mindset and the best plan. And that's my reading. This was really exciting. I think that right now we're just in a weird time in our lives where everybody is kind of at a standstill, to be honest. Everybody is kind of at that place where it's like, gotta wait for stuff, whether it's waiting to see your friends because of, spooky pandemic stuff, waiting to go to college, you're waiting to get a new job. Let's see it as blessing before things get really busy and, everywhere. Thank you guys for watching so much. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe. Now I'm going to give a shout out to my special patrons, Lucas S. Lou.
Heidi and Ted.
Thank you so much for being my patrons. I really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who supports me and just continues to be my super fans and my superstars. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!